Hey everyone, really excited to introduce to you my nutrition guide. We're gonna start with the first page where I'm introducing my meal plan called Supercharged. I've teamed up with Trish Williams over at Daily Dose Life. Trish has been a long-time friend for over 10 years. And what's drawn me to Trish is where she gets these foods sourced from and the fact that she is a nutrition fanatic. On top of that, she is a world-class chef. So the plan changes up quarterly. We mix in different types of macronutrients, micronutrients that are gonna allow your body to stay powerful, healthy, and it's gonna get you out of the monotony of eating a lot of the same foods throughout the year. My grocery list is gonna break down your protein, your carbs, your vegetables, your fats, your supplements. It's very detailed, but please understand that there are items that are approved items that may not be on this list. Remember though, how the food is prepared is so important. And just because you're ordering chicken doesn't mean that it's always healthy. So we have grilled chicken or we have fried chicken. Hopefully you guys know the difference where I'm leaning you more towards that grilled chicken. And if you're interested in my supplements, feel free to go to my supplement guide, create an account, save 15% off. It's a great deal. These are the supplements that I consume. Thorne is an incredible company. All right, so page 3 is getting into how I would measure meal portions if I don't have access to a scale. So I like to measure it through my hand, my palm, my fist, and my thumb. Palm size is how we measure protein. One hand is for women, 2 palm sizes is for men, okay? So according to the size of your hand, according to the size of my hand, I know that 2 palm size is gonna get me roughly into that range of 6 to 8 ounces for me. I've got big hands. So what's important is I think if you find out, and you can even compare what your palm size is, you can weigh it out, and then you have a general idea how many ounces a palm size of whatever specific protein you're choosing is gonna weigh out to. All right, the next category is gonna be your cupped hand. Your cupped hand is gonna measure your carb portions. So female is gonna go with 1 cupped hand, and male is gonna go with 2 cupped hands, and that's gonna roughly be my carbs. So when I'm measuring out my rice or my sweet potato, I wanna make sure that it can fit into my cupped hand, and I know that's roughly the amount of carbohydrates I wanna consume. Moving on to vegetables, we're going with our fist sizes. Now veggies are free. If I'm having green veggies, I really can have as much as I want, but an easy rule of thumb is to go with roughly what's gonna emulate the size of my fist. And if I wanna go with 2 fist sizes of veggies, that's fantastic. I'm trying to consume as much veggies as possible. They're high in micronutrients, they're high in fiber, they're gonna give my body the vitamins and minerals it needs to keep my body powerful. Thumb sizes is gonna measure your levels of fat. 1 for females, 2 for males. Roughly that in olive oil, or if you're gonna have some almonds, you want it to come out to roughly 2 thumbs for a man, 1 thumb for a woman. Again, this is getting us into the ranges. I have to be clear, this isn't gonna nail your macronutrients exactly, but it's gonna get us into a range and we're gonna get an understanding of what our portion sizes need to look like. So when we're on the road, we're gonna be able to keep our nutrition on track. Page 4 is basically a chart that's breaking things down into roughly 5 times a day of consuming nutrition. Now, whether you want that nutrition to come from 5 small meals or 3 meals and 2 shakes, I'm fine with that. I think in the beginning, I want us focusing on high levels of nutrition. This is a range, and I want you to consume nutrition every 2 to 4 hours. That range is gonna allow you a little bit of variability. The idea is to really make sure that we're spreading our meals out to where we can get all that nutrition in. As someone that's about 215 pounds, I am gonna consume my food 5 times a day because for me to get in the amount of protein I need, I'm gonna have to get roughly 40 to 50 grams of protein per meal. If I have less meals and I have to make those meals larger, there's more of a chance of my body not breaking down all that nutrition. There's more of a chance of me feeling lethargic. If I'm eating too much at a certain meal, I might feel like I'm getting that blood sugar crash where I'm just feeling exhausted. It's important for me to keep my energy high and my meals a bit smaller. So this guide is really gonna help you with a meal timing standpoint. Now, if you're just getting into this and you're only used to eating 1 or 2 times a day, don't panic. It's something we wanna work up to over the next few months. So if you're eating twice a day, let's start with 3 meals a day. Right? Let's go breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's not worry about the snacks and let's stay there for a few weeks. Then we can add a shake in and take our time. But if you're used to having 2 meals a day, jumping to 5 meals the next day is gonna be almost impossible to do. So this 80-20 rule, 80% of your week, I want your nutrition to be where I am explaining it in this nutrition guide. That 20% for just mishaps. It could be travel, it could be when you didn't prepare meals, It could be just when you break and you crack a little bit. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about slowly getting better every day, every week, every month. And remember, not if, when you break and you fall off, just get back on. Next page, this is my healthy living guidelines. These are things that I really think about when it comes down to sleep, when it comes down to meditation, activity. When you're implementing these great habits in your life, this stuff may take time. All right, if you're someone that's going to bed at 2 in the morning, I'm not expecting you the next night to be able to go to sleep at 10 p.m., right? I want you in time to start moving that clock earlier and earlier, forcing yourself to wake up earlier and earlier. These sort of things take time. We've got 12 tips here. Now, at the very least, at the very worst case scenario, take one of these tips and try and practice on implementing it in month by month. So you have 12 tips, you have 12 months, do one a month. Allow yourself time to create some habit, allow yourself time to make some mistakes, allow yourself some time to adjust and adapt. And that's what it's about. I really believe in taking this minimalistic approach out of the gate, not doing too much, but allowing habits to take form. You're gonna feel like $1 million once you start incorporating these habits. All right, macros 101. At a certain point, you're gonna wanna try this out. For those of you who are stressed out about macros, it's gotta be something that you're ready to do. I find that logging my macros, that recording and knowing what's going into my body every day really de-stresses me. All right, when I'm guessing or if I'm not measuring or if my meals are showing a lot of variability and one day I'm having 3 meals and another day I'm having 5 meals, my body's not gonna make much change. It's gonna take a little bit of time to understand how it works, but I'm here to guide you through it if you're doing the challenges, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. But at the bottom, you're gonna see Chronometer. That is my macro calculator of choice. It is the most accurate macro calculator on the market. Just go to your app store, download the app, Chronometer. It's free. What are macros? It's 3 macronutrients: your protein, which is your muscle building block, your carbohydrate, which is an energy source, and your fats, which is an energy source. So I'm gonna want you to get into the range of those macronutrients. So that's 35% protein, 35% carbs, and 30% fats. Take 2 weeks staying right in that range, and at that point, you're gonna be able to adjust in the direction that you need to go. Now, if you are someone that's not consuming enough calories, if Chronometer is giving you a number that's way higher than where you're at, you need to take your time on that. Let's say this, speaking theoretically here. If we're gonna be 1,000 calories off, let's say we need to increase it by 1,000 calories. I'm not gonna expect you to do that in the first day, in the first few days, or even the first week. We may want to increase that 200 calories a week for the next 5 weeks, or 250 calories a week for the next 4 weeks. You really have to go by how you're feeling, but we're gonna wanna take that reverse dieting approach, which is where we're slowly starting to add calories back in. We wanna be patient, we wanna take our time with it, we wanna allow our digestion to be efficient, not to be too full. Take your time with it. In time, your body will adapt, and at that point, we're gonna see body composition improvement. So the last page in the nutrition guide is a product that I started using a few years ago. It's called Lumen. Now, Lumen is incredible because Lumen measures where you need to be daily when it comes down to your carbohydrate and your fat consumption. Lumen is all about metabolic flexibility. Metabolic flexibility is having the ability to utilize your fats and carbohydrates as your energy sources. So Lumen is a little chamber about this big. You blow into that chamber several times a day. It lets me know if I'm burning fat or if I'm burning more carbohydrates. It then tells me where my macronutrients need to be. I recommend you checking this out, especially if you want to get into carb cycling or if you feel like measuring macros is getting a little bit boring. This is a really fun option. And in the last section is a list of my go-to recipes. Now, this is not every recipe in our arsenal. These are recipes that we utilize consistently all year long. They're delicious, they're fun, they're powerful, they're really adding in a well balance of macro and micronutrients. It is so important that our food is delicious, that we enjoy what we eat. You do not have to be miserable eating the food that you're eating to show really great body composition change. So I recommend you guys go through this recipe guide. At the very least, incorporate 1 new recipe every month, and you're gonna see that after a few months, you're gonna have a lot of variety. It's gonna be delicious, but you're also gonna be feeding your body so many different nutrients that it needs to be powerful. I've really noticed in life that when I started changing my nutrition up and I consumed different types of foods, that my body became more resilient, more powerful, and more energetic.